The final boss, WWE legend The Rock, and also a member of the TKO Group Holdings Board of Directors, has fueled speculation on social media after putting a post out there with him wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt. We'll let you know all the details on that. Plus, Randy Orton still doesn't have a match for WrestleMania, but more details regarding a possible opponent emerged last night on SmackDown. Kevin Owens reportedly is expected to miss over a year due to his neck injury revealed last week. Cody Rhodes appears with several WWE championships on SmackDown last night. The full card for WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday has been revealed. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre is now a Sin City street fight at WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair ambushes Tiffany Stratton in the parking lot ahead of SmackDown. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria will challenge for the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. Adam Pearce announces the World Tag Team titles will also be defended on the grandest stage of them all. More details when it comes to these rumors about Jordynne Grace taking a pay cut to join WWE from TNA. Several matches and segments are confirmed for SmackDown next week. The inductors for the class of 2025 WWE Hall of Fame have been confirmed, and Hiroshi Tanahashi loses his final match in the United States. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we start, you can see right there we are less than 300 subscribers to go until 21,000 subscribers. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and join the ever-expanding Wrestle News universe, that being the WNU. In addition, you can join the WN365 roster. All you got to do is click the join button, scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. The link's also in the video description. And check out the sidebar for upcoming episodes of Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania, NXT Stand and Deliver, and more, which we'll be doing watch-alongs and post-show for. All of the details are in the sidebar. But let's start with the final boss, The Rock, possibly having something to do with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Of course, The Rock is a huge name in professional wrestling, plus his involvement in this year's Road to WrestleMania has forced fans to examine his every move via a microscopic eye. Now, his recent post on social media has also left the internet in a complete meltdown with theory, speculation, and rumors. The final boss recently shared a video of himself trying to solve a Rubik's Cube on Instagram. An unusual thing to notice in the video was that he was sporting a New Japan Pro Wrestling t-shirt. Interestingly, New Japan Pro Wrestling is currently in a working relationship with All Elite Wrestling, WWE's rival promotion. Therefore, a TKO board member wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt has raised many eyebrows, pun not intended. Some fans on X have claimed the Great One was hinting at a potential alliance with New Japan. However, others thought an alliance was highly unlikely given New Japan's partnership with Tony Khan's company. Some have suggested possibly could this be an example of maybe TKO or The Rock himself and his $7 Promotions looking to buy in to New Japan Wrestling or something like that. It's certainly quite interesting nevertheless. So we'll let you know if anything comes from this. What are your thoughts? Is it just The Rock just wearing a t-shirt that he had? Or do you have to take everything that he puts on social media with this microscopic eye and think there's something more to this? Could we see TKO purchase New Japan Pro Wrestling from Bushiroad? Could we see New Japan sever their relationship with AEW and join it with WWE similarly to TNA Wrestling? Let me know your thoughts and predictions, all of it in the comments section below. As we get closer to WrestleMania, there is still no match for the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. 1 week after Kevin Owens announced that he would be out for the foreseeable future with a neck injury, Randy Orton opened SmackDown to discuss his WrestleMania future. Orton explained that he paid a fine to Nick Aldis in 2023 for his RKO to the general manager and paid double in case something came up like last Friday when he RKO'd Aldis. Orton believed that they were even. Orton said he needed a match at WrestleMania and didn't care who it was, even saying that Aldis could lose his suit and put his gear on. Aldis said it wasn't about money, it was about needing Orton's respect. Orton said he had respect for Aldis a long time ago, but if he didn't get his match at WrestleMania 41, he might not apologize to Mickie James, Aldis' wife, for what he does. Now, Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga interrupted Orton, leading to a brawl between the two sides. LA Knight made the save for Orton, setting up the main event. So, was this a tease? Was this seeds being planted for Aldis versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania? Let me know your thoughts about it. Or could we see Randy Orton face off against a previous tribal chief in Solo Sikoa on the grandest stage of them all? Speaking of Kevin Owens, a big update when it comes to his injury recovery. Kevin Owens was handed some disappointing news over the last couple of weeks, being ruled out of WrestleMania 41 due to requiring neck surgery, though at the time it was unknown when or if he'd return to the ring. A rather sour update has been provided, as Owens will be out for an extended period of time. Fightful Select have confirmed in a report that Kevin Owens could miss well over a year of time between the ropes, with those in WWE believing next year's WrestleMania to be an unlikely target for a comeback. Reports emerged over the last couple of days that Kevin Owens had already undergone his neck surgery, but Fightful have noted that that is untrue and he's yet to undergo the surgery. At the very least, WWE are not expecting him to return to the ring in 2025, and although there is no official timetable, the belief is that he will miss WrestleMania 42 when the promotion heads to the New Orleans Superdome in Louisiana in 2026. Over the last week, Owens revealed that he was disappointed that the news of his injury leaked prior to his official announcement. On SmackDown, Owens declared that his WrestleMania match with Orton was off before heading to the back, having a brief verbal altercation with a fan on the way out. Now, going back to SmackDown last night, Cody Rhodes showed off the history of the WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes appeared on the April 11th episode of SmackDown, and he brought a lot of gold with him. Rhodes had the history of the WWE Championship on display, including the original undisputed WWE Championship, the Winged Eagle, the Spinabout, and much more. Cody connected history of the championships and said that holding the undisputed WWE Championship makes him the best in the world. Cody mentioned Defy Wrestling when receiving cheers from the crowd and said the crowd is allowed to love who they want. He mentioned other members of the roster, including CM Punk, Rhea Ripley, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Liv Morgan, and more, saying that even though he calls himself captain, they all make each other better. Cody closed by saying he does his best work when backed into a corner, noting his battles with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and the bell was going to ring at WrestleMania 41. After it was over, he would allow Cena to have his moment. So he closed the segment, as I mentioned, by once again confirming he would defend his undisputed WWE Championship against John Cena at WrestleMania 41. Speaking of which, the card for both nights of WWE's biggest event of the year have now been confirmed. The match card for both nights of WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Nevada next Saturday and Sunday were officially revealed alongside their respective graphics on SmackDown on Friday. The main event of both nights had already been determined, with the triple threat pitting CM Punk with Paul Heyman at his side, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins against each other on night one, and undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes taking on Elimination Chamber winner John Cena, main eventing Night 2. Night 1 will feature two non-title matches where Naomi will take on Jade Cargill in a grudge match, and Rey Mysterio will also face a Grande Americano. 4 championships will be defended on Night 1, including United States Champion LA Knight defending against Jacob Fatu, the War Raiders putting their World Tag Team Championships on the line against the New Day, World Heavyweight Champion Gunther defending his gold against Royal Rumble winner Jey Uso, and WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton taking on Charlotte Flair. Night 2 will also feature two non-title matches when AJ Styles clashes with Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre takes on Damian Priest in a Sin City street fight. Bayley and Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria will challenge Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Tag Team Championships, and the triple threat featuring Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair and Io Sky for the Women's World Championship will also be on the second night of WrestleMania. Bron Breakker will defend his Intercontinental Championship in a fatal four-way match against Penta, Dominic Mysterio, and Finn Balor. Now, speaking of WrestleMania, we just spoke about it briefly there. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest will take it to the streets of Las Vegas. WWE has announced that Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest will clash in a Sin City street fight at WrestleMania 41. The bout was announced on Thursday, and the stipulation was added on Friday's SmackDown. McIntyre and Priest were supposed to meet face-to-face on SmackDown, but McIntyre attacked Priest during his entrance. After the attack, McIntyre revealed his eye was fine and he is 100% cleared, saying Priest is 100% screwed. Priest made his way to the back to the ring, but McIntyre had the last laugh, hitting Priest with the steel steps and delivering a Future Shock DDT onto the steps. McIntyre snatched Priest's necklace as he looked down at his WrestleMania opponent. Now, Charlotte Flair, she continued her vicious rivalry with Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown following their intense promo segment on last week's episode of the show where both women went off script and got into personal matters. Charlotte Flair was seen ambushing WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton in the parking lot of the Allstate Arena on Friday. Fans posted a video to X that showed Flair attack Stratton in a nearly empty lot before the show. The Queen got the upper hand on the champion and bounced Stratton face first off the window of an SUV before sauntering away. Officials attempted to separate the woman, and the video appears to show other SmackDown stars coming to the aid of Stratton as the clip ends. Of course, last week, Stratton and Flair got personal when Flair called herself the Nepo Queen and mocked Stratton's voice, and Stratton shot back with a quip about Flair's most recent divorce being 0-3 in marriages before rolling out of the ring. Flair shot back that the champion's boyfriend Ludwig Kaiser was in her DMs to end the segment. Those within WWE called the segment a wreck. Flair and Stratton have reportedly had issues for weeks, beginning back to when they had their first split-screen interview where Flair appeared to talk over the champion. Now, WWE addressed the situation on SmackDown last night, these real-life issues. While last week's issues were believed to be legitimate, WWE is now evidently playing things up and building them into the storyline. Part of that came before the April 11th SmackDown, where fan footage emerged on social media of the two women brawling in the parking lot, which had been instigated by Flair. Then, during SmackDown itself, announcer Joe Tessitore commented on both the brawl and last week's promo. Tessitore said there are unspoken rules in wrestling and lines you're not supposed to cross, and last week those lines were in fact crossed. He said that both women have been punished, although he wasn't specific about what the punishment was, and as a result of the parking lot brawl, Flair had been ordered to leave the arena and stay at home for the next week. There's been no word that either Flair or Stratton have legitimately been punished in any formal way, but there was said to be backstage heat on both for what happened last week. Now we have Women's Tag Team Championship opponents set for WrestleMania. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley went wire to wire in the Women's Tag Team Gauntlet during SmackDown, winning the bout for a shot at the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania 41. The current tag team champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, sat ringside for the bout that saw Valkyria and Bayley enter as the first team. First, they faced Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler of Pure Fusion Collective, seeing them off as Valkyria hooked a jackknife pin on Baszler. Then they were met with Natalya and Maxine Dupree, with Dupree taking both Valkyria and Bayley out with the worm into an elbow drop. She then attempted a sharpshooter to Bayley, only to be rolled up before the elimination. Descent was teased between Natalya and Dupree, with the former audibly complaining about her partner's use of the submission. The next team was Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, who were ultimately eliminated as Valkyria delivered Nightwing to Chance for the pinfall, and then Mitchin and BFAB entered and were also next to be eliminated with Bayley's Rose Plant. The last entrants, Women's United States Champion Chelsea Green's Secret Hervis agents, Piper Niven and Alba Fire, had an extended competitive run against Bayley and Valkyria. The battle went to the outside towards the end, with Valkyria sending Niven to the outside and attempting a powerbomb from the apron, helped along by Bayley dropkick. Eventually, Bayley landed the Rose Plant of Fire in the ring as Valkyria delivered a leg drop to secure the winning pinfall. Bayley and Valkyria is a fresh team, with this being their first match together, and have secured a shot at their first gold together just days after Valkyria had already defended her Intercontinental Championship against Bayley during Monday Night Raw. Speaking of tag title matches at WrestleMania, WWE WrestleMania 41 has gained another match, with this one pitting two of the hottest Raw tag teams against each other. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce shared the news on the official WrestleMania X account on Friday. Quote, New Day is holding a victory over the World Tag Team Champions, and as you can imagine, they will not stop blowing up my phone wanting another crack at the World Tag Team titles, Pearce said, referencing the DQ finish on Monday Night Raw earlier this week. War Raiders, on the other hand, feel like New Day caused the entire situation and the disqualification. So what are we going to do? You have two of the most decorated tag teams of a generation with a storied history and a score to settle. That's exactly what we're going to do. I have now signed the match for the World Tag Team Championships. The War Raiders will defend against the New Day, and what better place to do it than the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. On this week's episode of Raw, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods challenged the War Raiders for the World Tag Team titles. At one point, Woods received a steel chair from ringside, which Ivar then snatched from his hands. When the referee turned back around to face them, however, he witnessed Ivar striking Woods with the chair, prompting him to call for a disqualification. From there, Woods and Kingston issued a post-match beatdown on the War Raiders. Now, going over to an NXT superstar in Jordynne Grace. Now, since Jordynne Grace signed with WWE earlier this year, the former TNA star has quickly become one of the company's most promising female competitors and has proven to deliver in the ring on several occasions as a full-time WWE NXT superstar. However, rumors have continued to circulate regarding the details of Grace's contract, specifically the pay structure of her deal, leading Fightful Select to provide an update on the situation. Fightful began with Scott D'Amore's claims in the Wrestling Observer, which indicated that Grace took less money in her WWE contract than she was earning in order to bet on herself. Fightful noted there was no clarification where that news was reported from, with many being led to believe that Grace took a pay cut from TNA to join WWE. However, Fightful then referred to one of their previous reports from earlier this year, which outlined the real reason that Grace was earning less in WWE was due to other outside ventures, various brand deals, and her TNA salary. Most importantly, Fightful has now clarified that the Juggernaut's WWE salary is a main roster level deal, and it's actually more than she was making in TNA wrestling. In addition, Fightful stated that Grace was already making well over 7 figures before arriving in WWE through her additional incomes. A main reason for her outside earnings could be attributed to the adult content she'd been posting online prior to her WWE contract. Since 2021, Grace was an active user on OnlyFans and was on track to make her first $1 million on the platform from monthly subscriptions. However, Grace shut down her OnlyFans account this year before signing with the promotion, as she intended to make wrestling her main priority and wanted to avoid any potential conflict with WWE ahead of finalizing her deal with the company. Now, several matches and segments have been confirmed for next week's episode of SmackDown. Of course, the WrestleMania Go-Home edition of the show on Friday. We'll be doing a live watch-along and post-show, so be sure to join us for that. WWE have announced John Cena will be in the building on the April 18th episode of SmackDown. Cena is set to challenge Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania 41. Plus, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal returns. The WWE Tag Team titles will be on the line as the Street Profits will defend against the Motor City Machine Guns. Finally, Chelsea Green, Alba Fyre, and Piper Niven will take on Zelina Vega, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance. And a big update here when it comes to the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025. We now know who's going to be inducting this year's class into WWE's storied hall. The Hall of Fame takes place next Friday in Las Vegas, 2 hours after the end of SmackDown, which is at the T-Mobile Arena, and the actual Las Vegas location for the Hall of Fame is at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas. So that makes a change from the last few years, when of course it's actually taken place immediately after SmackDown. The inductees into this year's Hall of Fame are Triple H, Michelle McCool, Lex Luger, The Natural Disasters, and the first ever match being inducted, Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13. Additional inductees for the Legacy Wing are Kamala, Dory Funk Sr., and Ivan Koloff. Last night's SmackDown featured confirmation on who will be doing the induction speeches for the main inductees, which are as follows. Triple H will be inducted by Shawn Michaels. Michelle McCool will be inducted by her husband, The Undertaker. Lex Luger will be inducted by WWE Hall of Famer Diamond Dallas Page. And Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13 will be inducted by CM Punk. There was no inductor listed for the Natural Disasters or any of the 3 Legacy inductees. It's also notable that AEW's Sting is absent, despite Lex Luger expressing that he'd liked to have Sting induct him alongside DDP. And finally, Hiroshi Tanahashi has competed in his final match in the United States. It is certainly the end of an era. Hiroshi Tanahashi took on Konosuke Takeshita on Friday night at New Japan Windy City Riots, and the ace of New Japan went out on his back. After a big splash from Takeshita, the ace kicked out at 1. He then hit a dragon-style slap to Takeshita's face and eventually followed up with a sling blade and a high crossbody block. But when he attempted a frog splash, Takeshita got his knees up and took control of the match. After a strike fest between the two competitors, Takeshita took control and hit a series of power drive knee strikes on Tanahashi. Still, Tanahashi refused to go down until he did. Takeshita got the win and Tanahashi got to go out on his own terms, the New Japan commentators said. Of course, this is all part of Tanahashi's retirement tour. Takeshita finally defeated Tanahashi and he was emotional doing it. The camera didn't pick up Takeshita saying, I'm sorry, I love you, but the sentiment was certainly the same. Following the match, Takeshita extended the hand of gratitude to him and then left so Tanahashi could have one more moment in front of his American fans. The crowd chanted "Thank you, Ace," and Tanahashi thanked them back. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. A reminder, we are less than 300 subscribers to go until 21,000. If you haven't already, click the like button. Also, check out the sidebar for all upcoming watch-alongs. And you can join the WN365 roster. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only contents. Appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.